Hello and welcome to the Troyiverse. This is episode 37. It is Monday, June 15th, 2:41. It is a beautiful day today. I am loving this weather. It is about 73 degrees. Um, the high is supposed to be 74. It is a little overcast, but at this point it has some sun to it, so that's nice. That's some sun out. So it's actually pretty cool. It has been a week. I have to say that. So I've been on my just resting and recouping and trying to. Oh, now here's the overcast and the sun went away. The trying to just get back to center, if you will. So I don't know. I think I did too much the other day. Like it was a block party on my block, which was everyone seemed to have fun. I'm not a people's person. I used to be. I used to go out to clubs all the time. I used to hang out all the time. I used to like go to block parties and like barbecues and stuff like that. I used to like just rub shoulders with anybody and everybody. Just to have the experience and enjoyment of just being around people and being in the atmosphere. Now, after COVID and after certain situations in my life, if from this point, everyone should have been more aligned or have more of an understanding of my disposition after the July 14th, 2020 podcast I issued. It actually came out last Tuesday at this time. So like, I don't deal with people no more. I don't really like engage with people that much because honestly, I don't trust people. Like it's just hard for me to get close to people nowadays. Hence why previously in a previous podcast I always talk about how I enjoy just watching stuff on YouTube and engaging different creators like on YouTube or on TikTok or on like Instagram or well not even Instagram no more. Instagram is fake as shit. But I mean all of it's fake as shit. But the people on Instagram are just real fucking fake. But Instagram is like the where everybody from Facebook went. Facebook is fake as fuck. But yeah, like the TikTok and like YouTube and I would say Twitch, but I haven't been on Twitch for a while either. But yeah, it's just been one of those things where just enjoying being able to like jump in and make a comment of encouragement to people or make a comment about things I like or I enjoy, be it anime and stuff like that, and then they comment back cool if they like it, cool if they don't, if they don't like or comment, then that's fine because I just said my piece and that's it. So and also it's every time it's around my birthday time, it's always a thing where I'm like I really get really recluse because the fact is like I get the the annual like happy birthday type thing, but it's one of those things where it's like it's just they seen that my birthday was a day on social media thing, so they like let me just put that out there to say happy birthday because I've seen it on social media. It's not like anybody's like chomping at the bit to be like, hey Troy, let's like go out and let's like celebrate your birthday or something like that. So, but regardless, so I'm just keeping myself. But my neighbor, 3 doors down, she's the block captain, and she wanted to throw a block party for the neighbors and the kids, mainly for the kids, so the kids can just have fun and stuff like that. And like it turned out well. Like a lot of people came out. Like a lot of the families brought out their like tents and canopies and stuff like that, or canopies. I don't want to say tents. everybody be like, they was camping out there, but they brought the canopies and their chairs and everything, and their barbecue pits and stuff. It was nice. It was like a nice shindig. I was supposed to get some food from the block captain, but she was really busy like organizing and like doing her thing that she forgot, which is no, it's not. I don't mind. It is what it is. Cause yeah, one thing for sure, two things for sure. You know, I am a germaphobe, so like I would have took the food graciously, and you know, of course, I would have gave the food. You know, I would have got a portion. My roommate would have got a portion and stuff like that, because that's what she offered. But you know, it's you never know how people are behind closed doors. You know, and I'm a germaphobe, so I'm always be like, yeah, I would probably eat it. Yeah, me, but at the same time, I wouldn't. Like, yeah, it's a lot of people standing around. It's like, especially it's gonna be barbecue, and I don't know if they got pets, and but it's a lot. So I'm actually happy that she didn't supply the food that she did offer, because it would have been a thing. I probably would have been in my head the whole time, like, is that okay? Like, I would have been in my head the whole time. I don't know, but apparently everybody seemed to have a good time. Like the neighbors out. Like I actually went out there for a second because I had to move Nagi out the way, because it's a block party. My vehicle was on the block, so I went to move Nagi out the way. And when I was moving Nagi out the way, everybody was getting situated. So I helped my neighbor put up his canopy, and we was talking for him. And he asked me if I was gonna come back. So he asked me if I had a chess board and if I wanted to come out to play chess later. I was like, yeah, I do. I was like, I might, but it was just so hot. It was hot that day, and I don't like being hot. Like it was like in the 80s, or like I think maybe like high 80s. I don't think it was like in the 90s at that point. I think the 90s was like yesterday or 2 days ago or something like that. But anyway, it was a lot, and I was like, nah, I'm good. So I just stayed in the house the whole day and just watched a lot of television, stuff like that. But I think I did too much, because from like running up and down the steps to move the car, standing out there to help him with the canopy, I brought like a case of water in from my car and took it upstairs, and then running back and forth up and down the steps to like get ready for them to like finish the block party so I can move my car back into my position, stuff like that. I did a lot, so I was hurt like for like the last like day and a half basically. It felt like my leg came out of a joint or something like that. It was weird, but like it was also a funny thing, because this happened on Saturday. My cousin's son was having a birthday. I can't remember if it was his birthday or if he was just having a birthday party on that Saturday, because my cousin was off at work that day. But they was having that day, and he hit me up because he was like, hey, I hit him up. I was like, hey, happy birthday to little man, and he was like, where you at? I was like, I'm home, because honestly I wasn't like, my chest was like tight. I was having shortness of breath, work like that. So but this is already something that was like starting to develop, because I was telling him before, like I texted him like earlier last week, and I was like, hey, I'm still dealing with the crack in the ceiling where there's leakage coming from every time it's like a rainstorm or a thunderstorm, and it's more likely probably mold being in like close to the area of like that. So or might be mold in like near the like crack or like that. So it was one of those things where I was like, I'm trying to like move the bed from out of that middle room into the back room where I usually like have wherever my TV at and my entertainment system and my books and my chess boards and stuff like that. So, but he ignored that request, and he talked about like how we haven't talked in a while, and then he told me about his son's birthday party or like that for the Saturday. But he never like replied back after I was like, yeah, my chest is like tight and I'm having trouble breathing and stuff like that. So he was busy with his son, which is understandable. But during that time though, like of watching different stuff, because I was just like just trying to rest and recoup and be in a position where I can actually try to breathe normally and stuff like that, and just be able to be comfortable like that. I was watching a bunch of stuff. Um, so I was watching. I finally finished um, Station 11. That's on HBO Max, which was fantastic. It was really a good show. It's a pandemic based show, a base plot show. It deals with it did the Orange and the New Black type thing, because I'm not sure if you're familiar with the narrative of Orange and the New Black. Like, the original script and the concept of Orange and the New Black was it was a prison show like Oz, and it was supposed to be about all the different POC women and women of color that was like in that jail, and how they got there and their stories, and some of them who did some wild shit, or some of them that just was in the wrong place, wrong time, shit. Just like Oz, it was female Oz, but because of racism and basically racism, different places, different sources wasn't picking up the show because of the fact that they was like, well, why do we care about POC women? So they had to put a white main character in there for the show to be picked up. This is not my, race baiting type situation topic. It actually is what the screenwriters and stuff like that was saying about the show when they originally was like talking about it. You can probably find interviews of when I'm talking about it, but they did the same thing with Station 11. Like, they put a little white girl as the main character, but of course they had other, it first started dealing off with the Indian dude, and the Indian dude found a little girl, and then after the first episode it just went from a Joel Ellie scenario to just the little girl 20 years later, and her being older, and her being with her traveling acting group. I was gonna say camping group, but yeah, but it was a good show. It was a really good show. It tied together a lot of different threads of how small the world became after the pandemic, and how, regardless of how far a distance all these different characters were, how they were still connected by one to two people type thing, or like that, or one to two type of incidents that, or experiences that happened in everyone's lives or whatever like that. So it was a good show. So with that being the case, and of course it's dealt with death, and it was dealing with mortality and stuff like that, I was like, you know what? Like anything, I never know when I'm going to transition again. So it was one of those things where I was basically like, let me get to a position where I just have a conversation with, because I had a conversation with a roommate before. I talked about that, I think, in the last podcast, about how it's a situation where I was just done. I was just fed up, and I was just hers as my roommate, and previously stated her as person who gave birth to me. She has no care or concern or relevance when it comes down to having any type of thought process when it comes down to me or her granddaughter, my daughter. And it was it was really a really deep, introspective conversation type thing. But with the show, I was like, let me go down there and let me be clear. I was like, and I started off with saying hey, listen, I want to talk to you real fast, because I was like, I'm not sure when I'm going to die. I'm not sure if it's going to be tonight, next week, next month, a couple years from now. But I just want to be able to make this clear. I don't hate you. I don't have any type of qualm against you or nothing like that. You know what I mean? I was at the same time, I don't really have any type of love type thing for you like that. But I was like, it's just one of those things. And I was like, the reason why is because this is how I feel, and this is what's going on, stuff like that. I was like, I'm just neutral with you. I'm you're a person, I'm a person, and I don't want anything bad to happen to you, just like I don't want anything bad to happen to anybody, type stuff. So it was on those type of conversations, and it went from me sharing and talking, sharing and talking about that, to her trying to gaslight me and be like, "You don't feel that way. That's not right. That's not how you feel, and you're wrong." And yada yada. And it was just like a whole thing about saying like why my feelings weren't accurate for her, and how like I was either the blame for everything or I was the fault of everything. Like the whole concept of me being like, because I even told her, I was like, I'm having shortness of breath. Like like I actually had a healthcare like last week and a half ago, where literally I was like in bed, like sleeping, and I was breathing. And when I was having deep breaths, like I was feeling like a pain in my chest. Like it was to the point where I was taking shallower breaths so I wouldn't feel like this spiking pain that was happening in my chest. And if I took a deep one, it was like really sharp pain to the point where I went to sleep while experiencing this. And then like I remember like just breathing in deep while I was sleeping, and then feeling like this really sharp pain, and then that was it. And the next time that I woke up, like startled, just startled from like the experience of the pain I felt. And like it was like 5:40, like 5:50 in the morning, and I like basically like I hopped out of the bed and I went to the back room and I just sat there for like I don't know, like it was I was there I think I was up to like 10 o'clock in that morning, and I was just sitting there. I was sitting in my room in the dark like for like an hour and a half basically, because I was just like I don't know what that was. I don't know if like, because my whole thing, I've talked about it previously in the podcast. I was like, I do believe in quantum immortality. I do believe that consciousness is a separate essence from our physical idea of this 3D reality. That when a version of our avatar dies in one reality, then our consciousness shifts over to another parallel reality that our consciousness can fill into that. Like basically Schrodinger's cat of we are in superposition at all times, and consciousness is a part of that superpositioning. The consciousness is the cat, and the box is our body. So like when the box is destroyed, it's a one reality of that box is destroyed, but in other realities the box is fine. So that's one of those type things of where my belief stems from. So this is one of those things. It was like just felt like I just like felt another death in a way. Like it did feel like when I felt that pain, and it felt like everything went dark. Like even how my eyes was closed, I had like my face mask on. It was darker than what it was. It felt like when it was the first time when it happened to me. So I was just like, I don't know what is going to be my next. The next time it happens to me and I just don't come back. So I was like, let me just clear the air and just say, what I need to say to her and stuff like that, and, move on. But it got to a position where it was also a thing where, because I'm still in school for like science and psychology and stuff like that, and I was just being to a point where I was just like, okay, I was just like, all right, so I was like, you got a curve behind you. Okay. So I was like, it was a thing where it was one of the things where I was just like, all right, well, if I can just go and like just clear the air and just be like, hey, this is what's going on, just if I do die and you find my body, gone or whatever like that, you'll at least know where my head was at, how I felt and stuff like that, and what was going on, just letting everything out type stuff. So, but it was also at the same time, because of the fact of my science and psychology degree, I was also the point of just being like, let me like, because I'm always there doing like social experiments in a way, because that's like my thing now. I just love doing social experiments, seeing how people think and how people behave and think how I act and stuff like that. So it was also a thing of being like, I already gave up on my blood family, but at the same time, it was just one of those things of just being like, let me just put the last nail in the coffin, if you will, type thing. So it was just one of those things where I was just like, let me categorize this for, I guess, whatever part of me that still felt and needed to have some type of like, you know, closure with this, of being like, what, let me put this out. Let me have this out there, open and honest and stuff like that, where we can just have this last conversation and that'd be it type thing. So it was a thing where I was, because as a parent, I know I'm willing to do anything and everything for my daughter. I know for other parents, they are also willing to do anything for everything for their child. Like, I was just reminded about the father who the cop shot and killed his son. So this father went and staked out the cop's house and waited till the cop's daughter came back from prom and shot the daughter and killed her, and then put the gun down, and was arrested, and basically was like, eye for an eye. And it was just one of those things that's being like, yeah, like I fucking vouch for that. Like I get it. Like, because you killed my child, I have to deal with this and suffer with this the rest of my life. I really don't care about anything else that happens in my life because you took my child away. So why should I care about you and your family? I'm going to definitely make you feel the same way you made me feel, stuff like that, or made my family feel. So, but at the same time, I know if like my daughter came to me and told me that this is how she feels and this is the thing that is going on in her head, and it revolved around me and it revolved around the family and stuff like that, my first instinct is not going to be, well, that's your fault. Well, you isolate yourself. You do this and you do that, or bring up examples that have no bearing on the situation whatsoever, or try to be like, I'm not going to gaslight her. I'm not going to gaslight her. I'm not going to tell her like she's wrong for feeling that way. Like, and I'm not saying just because what she did is like the most horrendous and fucked up thing ever, but and the things I would do that is different is the absolute only right way to doing it. However, I'm not, at the same time, for me, when you create a life and you care about that life that you created, you do want to make sure that you like hold on to it and make sure that life is like protected, and you want to make sure that you cherish it. You cherish it to the point of just being like, because like there was no life before you and whoever came together to create this life, and y'all made a decision to continue this life to be presented in this reality, and to leave it, abandon it, and just act like it just doesn't exist, and then to continue acting like the things that they do and create just doesn't matter. It's just kind of like, well, you should have just aborted. You should have just aborted the person. Like, or you should have just aborted the child, or gave the child up for adoption to another family that would care for it. Hopefully, fingers crossed. But I just know for myself, like if it came down to it, with not just my daughter, with anybody, because that's how I used to be in the past. Like if anybody came to me and was saying like they was feeling a certain type of way, they wanted to like, earth off themselves, or like they felt horrible about yada yada yada, I would literally, especially if I knew them well enough and I knew their accolades and knew the things that they did or do or wanted to aspire to, I would like and give them encouragement. And I would be like, well, what can I do to help you, not feel that way? Like, how can I help? But I would never be like, no, that's your fault. nope, like you're the reason for all this, and yada yada yada. Especially in or being like, well, you don't want to come down to family functions. Okay, well, what have the family done for me beyond the fact of just being like, hey, Troy, like especially when it comes down to me helping the family out, when it comes down to like when the family would move and do stuff, I would help them move and do stuff, not asking for anything in response or reply, just being like, yo, I just want to help out. When the family came out to being a thing of where my cousin used to do bake sales and like make food food stuff, like she used to make food platters and she'd make cheesecakes and stuff like that. Like I would help her with sales, I would help her spread out the word, to like share like her wares with people and stuff like that. When it came down to like people needing help with like physical attributes, accolades or like that, or just like moving cars or moving stuff around, I would help them do that, stuff like that. Like, and it's like every time I go, like I said before, every time I would ask them in return for help, it was never a thing of being like I can be there for you. Like it was never like my cousin has helped me. A cousin helped me a few times when I was talking about that I said previously that his son was having a birthday party. Like, but it was always like, let me say it like this: the way they help, and I mentioned this before, it'll be a thing where if I'm asking for help and I'm like, hey, what I need from you to help me is A, B, and C. They'll be like, well, I'll give you D, E, F, and I'm like, I don't need D, E, D, E, F. Like, I need, A, B, and C. And they're like, well, how about I give you X, Y, and Z? Like, you're not listening to me. I'm asking for A, B, and C. It was like, well, what about X, Y, and Z? Like, or what about, NOP and shit like that? What about that? And I'm like, I'm good. And they were like, see, that's your problem. You just don't want to help when we trying to offer you help. It's like, that's not the help I need. I don't need that type of help. I need A, B, and C. They were like, well, how about I give you C, and I'll give you QR. Like, what? How is that? Oh, like, what, I'm good. And then now I'm the problem because the fact that they were like, well, we try to help. I'm like, nah, you gaslighting. Like, that's some bullshit. Because when you ask me for A, B, and C, I'll give you A, B, and C. Exactly how you want it. Even if you want B, C, A, I'll give you B, C, A. If you want it that way, then I'll give it to you that way. Like, I'll help you the way I can help you, the way you want me to help you, the way you ask me to help you. Without even giving you a fuss about saying, like, this is a problem for helping you this way, like that. So, it was just one of those things where I was just like, always on a back foot when it comes down to my family and stuff like that. Like I said before, like even my accolades, even the stuff I do, like graduating and stuff like that, and like actually getting my degree and stuff like that. My cousin, she was one of the first people to go to college, and people celebrated her for going to college, and her kids went to college and stuff like that, and they celebrated her kids for going to college and stuff like that, and like graduating and stuff like that. One of her kids is a cop, and they celebrated him being a cop. Like, it's it's beautiful to have support. Long and short of it, it's beautiful to have support, and I don't feel supported, and I've never really felt supported in the family. So it was just one of those type of situations where, in that kind of feeling of just expressing that to her, that's when it was the gaslighting of being like, well, you isolate yourself and you don't come out. It was like, well, why would I come out if I don't feel supported by y'all? Like, it's been 5.5 years of me not being with my daughter, and y'all still aren't supporting anything about it. Y'all not asking about it. Y'all not putting any type of witch call about it. Y'all nothing. Like, y'all want to talk about me, and y'all want to like have these discussions about me as if I'm like not even here. So it's like, what's the reason why? It's like, it feels like more so gossip than anything about support. So this is one of those kind of things. This is one of those type of conversations, stuff like that. But at the same time, it was just she felt more inclined to look into trying to find a text message of her saying that she wanted to give me a lawyer or talk about lawyers than to actually have a conversation about the fact that, like, wait, like, you feel like you might die soon? Like, you feel like your chest was like, you shortness of breath and you had chest pains and stuff like that? Like you good? Like, you alright? Like, because, like, let's be real. Like, the first thing I said was literally, like, I'm not sure when I'm going to die. Like, I don't talk like that, on a normal basis. It's not one of those things where I'm on like every day. I'm like, yeah, mortality is like the central point of blah 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 blah. Like, more so not, I'm always in my whole thing about talking about, comic books or like, first and foremost, my daughter. For those that listen, but since there's only like one person I'm really like willing to talk to like that, one of my companions, that because they also know how it feels to not be with their child at the moment, stuff like that. So me and her like really connect off of that, off of that trauma bond, if you will. But it was just interesting because it's funny because I was watching somebody on TikTok and it was so interesting because this is unrelated, but related. It's unrelated but related because it was to a point where it was funny because she was like, women always criticize men, talking about how men always go for toxic women. Yet, men are usually raised by women who beat and abuse them and then tell them they love them. And I was like, holy shit. Like, she really did, like, break a code for that one. Like I'm not saying all moms or parents or fathers and stuff like that beat or, when I say beat, it's still abuse. Like, because regardless of anything, the same reason I was like, I stopped taking a belt to my daughter's brothers, and one, I never hit my daughter at all, was because of the fact that, like, it's abuse. Like, I never wanted to. I wish I had a parent who didn't use the belt or the extension cord or the screwed wire piece attachment that goes to the old cable boxes that had like the little, prickly point piece in the middle, like screw groove in, like that. Like, I wish I never had that used on me. I wish I had, a parent that was able to have the wherewithal and the care to be like, let me like talk to my child to find out what's going on, stuff like that, instead of just abusing them with this like discipline. But it was a thing of like, she was accurate. This woman was right. Like, you can't go and keep getting abused by, the first person, man, woman, child, whatever. Like, if you're a boy or girl, or even non-binary, at that age or like that, and the first person that is supposed to show you what love is and what care is, what support is beating you, but also telling you, oh, I love you. And it's like, yeah, of course that's going to have a psychological, like trauma that is going to be stored deep down and in that childhood essence of who you are and stuff like that. And which, of course, as you grow as an adult, those confusing feelings of being like, oh yeah, like the person I want to be involved with is going to show me some sort of abuse, because that's what love is, clearly. Some sort of abuse. But now that we're adults, we're stronger and we're more able to tolerate the physical abuse better than we were as a child. Or having a parent that not only abuses you and tell you they love you, but is also a narcissist and also a gaslighter and also somebody who just doesn't support you and doesn't care about you whatsoever. And it was like, wow, that's fascinating, to the point of understanding that, like, trauma, of course, trauma begets drama. Like, hurt people, and it's just sad and sucky, but it's just like, it's this thing about breaking the cycle, breaking the chain of this mental, physical, emotional, spiritual abuse that's been going on with like everybody. It's 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 wild, man. Because it's like that's what I want to do. Like that's my goal. That's my like that's the reason why I'm here is to experience this so that I can help other people that have experienced this try to get better and try to find their center so that they can move and grow from that trauma into a better, productive, like human being, like because so they don't pass this trauma down to the next person or their heir or their anybody else. Like I know I'm not the only one that endeavors to have a better, kinder, world that they live in. But I know that as of right now, like I am pitting my focus on getting my daughter back while also focusing on my schooling so that I can get into a career position so that I can help other people do that. Help other people like find a better way of living, a better way of communicating, a better way of understanding each other, a better way of understanding themselves. And it was just, it was interesting and fascinating because, like I said, my roommate was literally spent more time trying to figure out, like, find a text message that she sent me, which apparently she sent me a text message by a lawyer in November of last year. So that was more than once, because that was her thing. I was like, y'all don't even ask me. I was like, oh, you asked me once. That was like 2 weeks ago, or like 3 weeks ago, something like that, about a lawyer. She was like, no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. It was literally twice. So she wanted to prove herself right. She had more important. It was more important for her to prove herself right that she said it more than once than to put any effort and concern of being like, let me like figure out what we can do about the roof and the mold and like yada yada yada, or what's going a proper thing that's going on with my daughter. Because her whole life is right. Her thing was going to some type of office that does pro bono work to get an attorney to help me get my daughter back. I was like, that's how much you are willing to invest in me. Hopes and prayers and send me to somebody that's free. Like, instead of being in the point of being like let's get some money together to try to figure out, how we can get a good attorney so that all this stuff can go down. Now, mind you, she doesn't know, like the rest of the family don't know, that I'm actually going to be talking to my daughter like next week. Like I'm actually in talks with a mediator, because I actually told the judge and the courts, I was like, I want to have a mediator involved when I talk to my daughter, because I don't want to have a position where I'm sitting on the phone doing, FaceTime or Zoom or whatever other media that I can use to like visually talk to my daughter face to face, and then her aunt comes in the background and be like, oh, yada yada yada, I'm not comfortable with you talking about her mom or something like that, or bringing up a history about what they did to her mom and stuff like that, and then they like, we're going to cut off talks and never talk to you again, blah 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 blah. So I was like, if I have a mediator there, because first and foremost, they can make up anything. They have made up anything and everything before, hence the reason why I was alleged of the assault that never happened in the first place, and how everybody just automatically jumped on this bandwagon and act like I did some things that I never fucking did or never would ever think about doing. But when you behind closed doors with somebody that's a liar, they are capable and willing to lie about anything and everything. Hence my point of like, I don't trust people. So I was like, alright, let me I was like, I want to get a mediator. I want to have a mediator there, and I want to like have a mediator to be able to like have these to be there to talk to us, and they'll be my prerogative, yada yada yada. So until my daughter feels comfortable enough to get into a position where she says, yeah, she doesn't believe the lies that she was told by her aunt and her other family members and stuff like that, because she actually get to know me and get to know her father again and get to understand who I am, and not some stories and fabrications that she was given for the last 5.5 years about me. So with that being the case, like, I'm already in talks with the mediator. We're gonna have a intake conversation this week. More likely, so will the aunt, and I'm planning on like in the week of the 20th, June 20th, 22nd, and moving forward, because I have the dates for my daughter's schedule, what she's doing. She's gonna be taking piano and swimming lessons and stuff like that, which I'm so happy about. And apparently she's gonna be going camping, going to a summer camp. So I think it's like during the day summer camp. She comes back home in the afternoon or something like that. But like, which that's what we did for her brothers when they was younger in Seattle too. Like, we took them to like this church summer camp thing for like the morning afternoon time, and then we'll pick them up afterwards. And like, it was nice. They had a good time and stuff like that, from what I remember. So I'm proud of her, and I believe that I want to say that she was on the honor roll before, previously this year. I'm not sure if she went through the whole year of staying on the honor roll or not, but regardless if she, continued or is stopped, it was like that. I'm so proud of her, because like, she takes after her old man. You know what I mean? Like the fact that like just being able to like be a sponge for knowledge and like absorbing this stuff to the point of just having like these accolades of being like on the honor roll. Like, I love that. I love that for her, and I'm so proud of her. That's one of the things I'm looking forward to, like talking to her about and like telling her like how proud I am of her for being able to do this, like being an honor roll, and like finding out what subjects like that is her favorite, and just talking to her about that, and just hearing her voice again, and just hearing her laugh, and like learning who she is as a person and stuff, and just, I'm excited. I can't wait. So it's just one of those things of just like letting go of the past of what my blood family didn't do for me. It, in a way, it was funny because it did feel like it was a funeral, or it felt like it was a passing of a part of me, because all I've ever cared about since coming back from the dead the first time was just my daughter, but it was still parts of me that was still hung up on the fact of just being like, maybe my family could still be a part of my life. Like, maybe my family could still be a part of like me and my daughter's life. But my first assessment before I even died, before my daughter was even born, was like to get away from the family. That's why I moved to Seattle in the first place, because when I found, like, I was already moving to Seattle. I was already trying to move to Portland before her mom like manipulated me to being like, move to Seattle, coerced me, if you will, into moving to Seattle, because she knew the legal ramifications of being in Seattle, because of how she set up that whole scenario of the accused fabricated attacks and stuff that landed me in the position I'm in, that I was in previously, and technically still now with everything that's going on. But letting go of all that and just being focused on my daughter and being focused on the livelihood of having the best like father daughter like loving caring supportive experience that we can have. And I'm just excited. I'm really excited. It's something that ever since that day I've been thinking about, and I've been it's just been on my mind. It's just been something that I just always been like wishing and hoping and like praying for, and just wanting to experience again. Like being a father to my daughter was the best experience that I've ever had in my life, hands down. Like, like to the point where it was literally like I've never been more sober after the age of 16 than I was when I was raising her, and having that life of being in the house or an apartment with her and her brothers and her mom. Like, it's the best time of my life, and it really brought out the best of me, the best in me. And it was just, it showed me a lot about what a parent truly should be and how a parent really should act when it comes down to a parent who actually cares about their child. And I'm happy to still convey and still hold those traits, even though I'm not, presently in front of her. I can still honor her as my daughter and still being the kind, generous, caring person that I was, while I was raising her. Of course, being protective and still being a germaphobe, but at the same time, just being able to be like, what's more important, trying to get my, revenge, or trying to make sure that she's, taken care of, like to the point where like even my driving has become to a point where I'm more like Morgan Freeman from Driving Miss Daisy now, compared to how I used to like drag race around the streets and yada yada. Like I take it easy, like I take it slow. Like I literally just drive. Like if it's like a 35 mile per hour, whatever, I'm driving 34 basically. Like I don't. It's so funny how drastically I've changed in like how I move when it comes down. Like after, not even just after she was born. Like before she was even born, like I was changing up my dynamic of who I was and how I was. So it's just I'm excited. Like I'm super excited for it. Like it's something that I'm thrilled for, and I can't stop smiling. I'm so grateful. Like I'm so fucking grateful because I do get another chance at this, and I don't know how long this is going to be and how long this is going to go for, but I'm like super excited for where this is going, because it's an opportunity for us to like I said, relearn each other again, and like hopefully in the near future get to a position where we can like travel and like go to different countries and different places and like road trip different places and stuff like that, and just hang out and learn and experience the fucking world around us and stuff like that, and like just be a shining beacon of hope for like each other and ourselves and like the world around us. So I don't know, I'm excited. I'm just happy. But outside of that, going back to like the other stuff that I've been watching previously or recently, so I'm still on my anime kick because I think I said I'm keeping Crunchyroll. which is another sign of apocalypse. But so I was, geez, what did I watch? I watched so much stuff recently. So, Dana Dubs have been watching Hody Mori. Hody Mori is like this really adorable, like, slice of life love story between these like high schoolers, and like it's such a sweet, adorable show. And because I like watching all that stuff, I was like I told you previously in the previous podcast, I watched the Apothecary Diaries and stuff like that, season two, which was amazing. Um, I like love stories. I love love. I do. I love love. But I was watching that, and then because I was watching that, all these listening devices are all like, cued to like talk about things that are, my interests and stuff like that. So YouTube popped up and was talking about another anime that was similar to Hody Mori, which was called You and I Are Polar Opposites. And it's only one season right now. Season 2 is actually coming out July 5th of this year, which I'm excited for. But I think it's like 12 episodes altogether. Same type of premise. High schoolers in Japan who fall in love, and like just their friend group and how their lives are changing because of the love that they have for each other and stuff like that. Definitely a different type of like speed transition, because I feel like the first episodes of Hody Mori was like you was basically getting introduced to the characters, and like you kind of like were building up to it. Then like it's kind of like light speed into like the relationships though. This one, like You and I Are Polar Opposites, it was the first episode, like it was instantaneous, like it was like speed right straight into it. But it was so well done. Like it was really well done. Like the characters was really fleshed out. The anime style was great because they flipped through different types of like animation mediums when they was conveying the characters and stuff like that, which it didn't feel forced, it didn't feel extra, it felt really natural. They had a running joke, which was literally a running joke. Like it was so funny. The running joke was hilarious. I still crack up because of the fact of how funny that joke was, and it never got old. It was so funny. It was so funny, it never got old. But I ended up watching all that yesterday. It was 12 episodes. I literally binge watched them all 12 episodes all yesterday. So I was like, that was funny. I started rewatching Log Horizon because I only watched season 1 of Log Horizon. I didn't know it was 3 seasons of it. But I think I finished season 1. But because when they first came out, not first came out, but the year that they came out, I watched it. I can't remember everything that happened, so now I'm like rewatching season 1 again to, get to like season, because I believe it was one of those things like the main character started to learn about the world that they was transported into, because the world, which was dope, it was a dope concept. The world was a game. It was a MMO originally, RPG MMO, and then there was a moment when they did the expansion pack, when everybody logged in with the login, kind of did a Sword Art Online thing where it like transported their consciousness into the world, but it really was them in the world. Like it wasn't a game anymore. Like apparently they was ported to a parallel universe to where the game was created from the identity of this reality, which is interesting because I feel like that's the same thing that happened with Shangri-La Frontier. I feel like the real world created a game, but they really tapped into a parallel universe. Hence why the bunnies are so lifelike and have existences and blah 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 blah. But regardless, I started watching that. So I'm rewatching season one. I'm almost done season one, or I want to say I'm like halfway done season one. So I can jump into season two and season three. I was trying to start up Rise of the Shield Hero season two, but I don't know. I felt bogged down by it for some reason. I don't know. I wasn't as interested as I was originally in the first season, how I was with the second season. So I just maybe it's the same thing. Maybe because I need to like rewatch the first season again to get to the second season. I rewatched the last season of Artificer, and I realized that I did actually watch that season already because I knew everything. But it was actually really entertaining to watch again, which was interesting to say itself. But yeah, what else did I watch? I ended up watching Resident Alien from season 4, the last season, which Alan Tudyk is like he should be a national treasure, like because he literally is in almost everything that I've found entertaining and enjoyable. Like almost everything that he does, I've been a fan of. Like I think I watched almost everything he's been in, like from Firefly to Serenity to Harley Quinn to Resident Alien to like he played fucking I want to say he played both Clayfaces, Clayface for Harley and Clayface for the Suicide Squad one, and he also was for is he the robot? GI Robot? I can't remember if he's GI Robot in Suicide Squad. For Suicide Squad, no, not Suicide Squad. Creatures Commando. Sorry, Creatures Commando. He was Clayface for Creatures Commando, and I think he was GI Robot in Creature Commando. But he's a national treasure, dude. Like he's incredible. Like when I say I was a huge fan of Resident Alien. I was a huge fan of Resident Alien season 1 through 3. I was saddened when I found out that they was canceling it after season 3, but then because Sci-Fi wasn't picking it up again, but thankfully USA picked it up for the final season of season 4, and that was dope. So like I found out that it came out like last Tuesday, and so I ended up watching all of these. Like I took like a 2-day binge of watching that, and like they did a hell of a job. Like they did a really good job. I was crying on the penultimate episodes and like the season finale. Like I was like tearing up. I was so annoyed because I didn't like one of the characters. I did not like the best friend character. Not the best friend to not the best friend to Alan Tudyk character, the alien, but her best friend, like the best friend's best friend, like the redhead. I could not stand the redhead. She, like, from the moment you meet her in season 1 to like even her last episodes in like the 4th season, I was just like, she's a waste. Like she's a waste of space. Like I really wish they killed her off. Like I was actually hoping they killed her off. Like spoilers. I mean, it doesn't care, but they didn't. Like she survived, but like it was just one of those things. It was like it was, but other than that, every other character that was great. Like I like, oh my god, I love the mayor. I love the mayor's wife. Like their character development and their growth was just really great. They were like that like odd couple that works for some reason, but shouldn't. But it definitely works. Like they definitely work, and it was really great. I liked their characters. Their son character was dope. His relationship with his best friend was dope. Which they had like Muslim Indian representation in the show, which was fucking dope. She was like super hyper intelligent, which was hilarious. She was like, she was smarter than she was smarter than mostly almost all the adults, which was hilarious. Her father was a cool character. Like the best friend's father was a cool character. Even like the kooky like idiot of the fucking like town. Like I loved her character. She was so endearing because she was just so stupid. She was so dumb. Like she was so oblivious to everything that was happening. She just was in her own world, but she was just happy to be around. It was like I loved the show. Like it was so great. But yeah, what else did I not watch it? I'm trying to think. What's this on else? I think that was pretty much it. I was just watching series after series after a while. I'm looking for I know the Vampire Lestat is out, but I don't have AMC. So and I'm either going to go to like one of those like websites where I can like just watch like pirate shows and stuff like that, or I'm just gonna wait for it to be on what is it? Netflix, when it finally comes on Netflix, because season 1 and season 2 of Interview the Vampires are on there, so of course season 3 is gonna be there. It's like I gotta watch season 2 of the Mayfair Witches because I watched season 1. I thought season 1 was good, which is hilarious because I have feelings about it. I have feelings because one thing is like I think that the main actress for the show has amazing eyes. Like she has some of the most like captivating eyes in Hollywood at the moment, and like, but I don't know if it's her acting because I've never seen her in anything else. She was also in like Percy Jackson. Well, no, I take that back. She was in Percy Jackson, which I never watched. The original Percy Jacksons, not the newer one that's on Disney Plus, which I still haven't watched those either. But she was also on in that movie. Was it 2012 with The Rock and Sexy McSexy? That was in like everything. At one point, she was in like Sin City, and she was like the nun that was in the basketball team movie. She was a whole bunch of stuff. But like the movie with it was like, was it San Andreas? I can't remember. It was the movie where it's basically like it was a national disaster in like California, and The Rock was a helicopter rescue pilot, and he was trying to get back to his ex-wife and his daughter, and she played the daughter. But I mean, she played a good role in that one. So I'm like, she can act. She can clearly act. But then again, it's not really that hard when you're acting against The Rock, like to be a good actor. But she was also in I didn't watch this though, so I don't know. I just know she was in it because everybody was talking about her nude scenes in it. The Woody Harrelson, Matthew McConaughey True Detective show. She was in that. But for some reason, I felt like her acting was just wooden. Like she just was like really wooden in the role in like Witches of Mayfair Witches, which I want to read. I want to read the books because I know they blend into. Well, not blend in, but like Lestat ends up in one of the books. Like I think the witches like actually like hold him hostage at one point. which is hilarious. I want to like see how that interaction goes, but because I do know in the second season there are vampires in the second season, but also I know that they're trying to build like the whole expansive world, so they're trying to have like the vampires to interview the vampires as well as the witches as well as the Telemascus, which the Telemascus is going to have their own series as well soon. So it's going to be one of those things where I'm looking forward to that. Like so, but I haven't watched season 2 yet of that, but I do want to watch it. I believe it's supposed to be a season 3, but I'm not sure if because of her pregnancy, if she's going to be the lead again for season 3. I'm not sure. I don't know. I thought I heard rumors and rumblings of it, but of them changing her as the lead, but I'm not sure. Also, real quick, I'm not sure if anybody knows this. I was just found out this myself, but like apparently Willow Smith had a kid last year. I had no clue. I actually follow her on Instagram and on TikTok, and I love her music and stuff like that. But like I did not know she had a kid. But anyway, so congratulations to her. But yeah, I'm looking forward to Enter the Vampire, Vampire Lestat season 3, and I think it's on like episode 3 right now, 3 or 4. Oh, I did watch Vox Machina. That's what it was. That was the other thing I was watching during this whole what you call it. So I watched the 6 episodes that's out right now. Or is it 8? Is it 6 or 8? I think it's 8. It might be, no, I think it's 6. But yeah, like, oh my gosh, like they did a hell of a job for this season because it feels so well done, and like I commend Matt Mercer for his storytelling and stuff like that, and also just the writers in general for like how they are arcing this narrative, stuff like that, because it really do feel great to be like, yeah, like these are real seasoned fighters. Like they saved the world like a couple of times, but at the same time it being the point where it's like they're so out of their depth right now because they weren't together. They haven't been a team for like over a year or so. So it's just like I can see how they keep goofing off and goofing up, but they're still the same squad of just ne'er-do-wells. But like heroes, these ne'er-do-well heroes is so great. But like it's really good. Like I'm enjoying. I've always enjoyed the show of Vox Machina, so I'm super excited for it. I'm like happy that it's back, and like me, I'm always going to be there to like support and like hear all the raunchy jokes from between the main actresses of Laura Bailey and Ashley Johnson and Sam. Oh my god, like they're the funniest ones in the group. Like I enjoy all of them. Like I did have a problem with Marissa at first. It wasn't really a problem. It was just like separating the show from the campaign, because I love the show, but I think after I watched the first season of the show about I started trying to jump into the campaigns of Critical Role, and like they're great, and I'm not saying anything negative about it. I think they're good. Like I love D&D, so I enjoy watching D&D stuff. Like I'll get into the campaigns that I was like really jumped into first, do like watching on YouTube, but in a minute. But the whole thing with Marisha, I don't know what everybody else's problem with Marisha is. I don't care what anybody else's problem with Marisha is. My problem was Marisha felt like the middle child that just was always looking for attention, and it was annoying to me because of the fact that every time I started watching every time I started watching one of their like Critical Roles episodes or shows or like that, like every time, like when I first started watching it, every single time I was watching it, it was always a thing where the group would be talking as a group, and they would be moving the narrative as a group, all of them, between like Laura, between Ashley, between Sam, between Travis, between Ian, and I can't remember, Taliesin. All of them will be moving along the narrative as a group, in a group setting, or even if they wanted to branch off and have like two of the characters or three of the characters talking like by themselves or like that, it will always be Marisha always do this weird thing where she would just leave the group and go off by herself, and then have this long 15-minute fucking monologue with like Matt, and it'll be her and Matt just talking to each other, and it'll be like everybody else ain't here to play the game. Like I hate when people make themselves the main character. And like when playing D&D, like I get it, we all have our own like story narrative that we're trying to like build up and stuff like that. But if it's a constant thing where you constantly are separating yourself from the group so you can have your own like big monologue fucking moment, or you just having this whole thing where it's just like this secret mission where you're just by yourself doing, like, here's the thing. I hate it. I can't stand it. It's annoying. It's selfish. It's childish. It really is. It's like, well, you like, why don't you just play D&D by yourself? Like, there's a one-on-one D&D type like game format that you play, where it's just, well, one is a one where you can just be the DM and you can be the character, so you can just play by yourself. Like, but like, and you know, it's a group of people here. They're taking the time because they want to like escape reality for a couple of hours and just play this game together as a group, and you separate yourself and just trying to make this whole thing about you. It's annoying. I feel this way about a bunch of people when it comes down to the different campaigns I listen to or watch. Like, because the original ones I used to watch was I watched one that was on like G4. They did it for like one session, one game season. But then I started running into the Dungeon Dudes, because the Dungeon Dudes was they was doing they was just talking about D&D in general and talking about like characters and classes and stuff like that. And I like learning and stuff like that via like them as an outlet. But then they actually make their own campaign. One of the co-hosts, Kelly McLaughlin, on Dungeon Dudes, he's a player in the game with Monty Martin, who's the other the other host and co-host of the Dungeon Dudes. Monty Martin is the DM for their campaigns, so like it's also like two other people who actually play, Joe Denitis and oh my god, I can't remember his last name. I can't remember his name. Kelly Joe and I can't remember his name. I can't remember. And I love him as a player, and as like I love his characters because he's so goofy. He can be serious when he wants to, but he's so goofy. So I I enjoy his gameplay. But like Kelly has this like main character syndrome thing where he just talks and he talks and he just talks, and it's like, all right, I get it. You love hearing yourself talk, dude, but that's like. But the thing is, here's my thing. Between him and between Marisha, between like even like a person who plays in Pathfinder games that I watch, Bestow Curse. She's the girlfriend to wife to the DM of that campaign. She just talks and talks, and she does not bring anything to the narrative. My thing is, and also Jennifer Cheeks from Greetings Adventures. Like, she's another one. It's her and her husband Tim Landy. Her and her husband Tim they both are just kind of annoying to me. But my thing is this: I would stop talking about the people I like, but like when it comes down to it, like the campaigns are fun. Like the story bases for me are entertaining. And the thing is, when it comes down to it, if the other people that are playing in the campaigns aren't bothered by it, then it really has no bearing for me to be bothered by it either. Like it is what it is. Like, do I become happier when like Jennifer and Tim are out some weeks and it's just like Mika Howard and the two Michaels, Mike and Michael, in the game? Hell yeah, I love it. Like I love those episodes when it's just them three because it's more streamlined. The game actually flows better, and there's no fucking just. There's no Tim trying to like joke and make these absurd jokes or do these whatever jokes if he like that he feels are funny, and there's no Jennifer just constantly just talking or constantly trying to just say something because of the fact that like she just needs to say something. Like I feel like she's on the spectrum. That's why I'm not trying to go too hard on her and stuff like that. But at the same time, it's like Jesus Christmas, dude. Like shut up. But that goes for like almost that goes for everybody. I was literally I mentioned by name why I don't like, but because their teammates and their like, companions aren't bitching about it, they don't have a problem with it, they're okay with it, and I'm like, it is what it is. Like I'm just here to enjoy the narrative of the story of where it's going and how it's like playing out. So that's why I actually got I got over the whole Marisha thing because I was just like if Ashley and Laura and Travis and all of them are cool with it, you know what I mean, then who am I to be like bitching about it? You know, because it's not like I want to like comment on their post and being like shut up and not like that. Like this is in my podcast, I'll be being authentic and sharing my views and stuff like that. But I'm not going to go on their sites and being like I love everything about y'all except for blah blah blah. Like I'm not a hater. Like it is what it is. But yeah, that was originally why I just didn't like Marisha at first. Like I was just like, this main character complex thing is so annoying. Like it's so aggravating. But that's neither here nor there with that. I am actually excited to get back into we just started getting back into playing our campaign in our Pathfinder game last week. We haven't played for like a month for different reasons like that, but like it was just fun to actually be back in the fold and to have like everybody be there and we actually like we almost died. So funny. We almost died again, but it was actually really a good it was a good game. It was a good game session and everything. I see the benefits of the complexities or the mechanics of Pathfinder compared to D&D, but I will say that for me, I do look forward to either running or being in a D&D campaign again. But like regardless of anything, when it comes down to any type of story, like RPG playing, like gameplay, as long as the story's good, like I really don't have a problem with anything. Like I really just kind of enjoy like the story and how the story is going. But I do prefer getting into the position where I'm actually playing D&D. Oh man! Again, I love the position of playing like D&D and just being in that type of like world setting compared to the Pathfinder world setting. I can honestly say it that way. Like, but it's kind of like, you know what's funny? It's kind of like the PlayStation and Xbox thing. Like, I just like video games. Like, I just like games. So it's like one of those things where it's like, I don't care if it's like Last of Us or I don't care if it's like a Halo. Like, I just enjoy playing games. Speaking of which, I'm excited for Gears of War E-Day. Like, so when I tell you, I'm so happy to have both consoles. So, because I'm like, I'm getting Wolverine, which is going to be exclusive to PlayStation day one. Like, as soon as it fucking comes out, it's going to be sent to my goddamn house. So I'm super excited about that. I gotta get my own. I gotta get a new controller because I want to get the Wolverine controller. Because I believe, okay, I know I've seen it. I know people talked about it. They was talking about they was going to present. They were going to present like a new Wolverine skin controller. It was supposed to be yellow with the blue like claw marks on it. Gotta have like a suit, which is supposed to be dope. I'm getting it if they do bring it out. Even if they make a skin for it, like I'll get the skin. I'll just get a new controller that's red and then put the skin over top of it. I don't care. I just want it. But I'm also excited for Gears of War E-Day because that game looks incredible. I loved the Gears of War franchise from 1 through 5. Now I only played 5 once, but and that was under it wasn't under duress, but it was definitely under like a stressful thing because it was like we were hearing. This was back when like I want to say Lily was like 2, maybe like 2 I think, and we was at her great grandma's apartment because her great grandma just died, and so we was there, but we didn't have anywhere. Like her brothers was out with her aunt and her grandma, and her mom, her mom and I were in the apartment, and we didn't have any transportation because we was using like I think the sister's car, and they were mad at us because of the fact that because we was in Delaware, because we came and we was in Delaware, me, Lily, and her mom went to go see the roommate. This is when I was still calling my mom. We went to go see because it was like we were in Delaware. Like I'm not going to come all the way to Delaware from Seattle and just not see my family. What the fuck? Or not have my daughter see my family. But so they was mad because of the fact that we came over and we spent the time with them, and then we basically spent the night there because of the fact that it was late as shit. Like we literally just came home. Like we just came from Seattle, flew in, hopped in the car, seen them, and then we was like, "Oh, we gonna go see like my peoples or like that." And then we went over there, and we asked, we was like, "Hey, what are you doing tonight? What are you doing tomorrow?" Yada yada. They was like, "We're not doing anything," I was like, "All right, cool." So we went over there, and then she was mad because of the fact that we stayed over the night. Cause it was like it was late as shit. We're not trying to drive. We tired. We did all this truck traveling, driving. Like we're not trying to drive back another hour just so we can like yada yada. So she was mad at that. So they air quotes tried to punish us by keeping us in the apartment and like or the condo, if you will, and like didn't come to fucking like get us until like 7 o'clock in the morning or 7 o'clock in the afternoon the next day or something like that. It was crazy. It was a wild day. So, but I packed my Xbox. I packed my Xbox because I was like I wasn't sure what was going to happen, but I was like I knew for certain I was going to have some games and shit like that. So I ended up playing Gears of War 5 while they was waiting for while we were sitting in the condo waiting for her Lily's brothers to get back and them to get back over like that. It was crazy. So I know what happened in the game, but I really wasn't like it wasn't like I was like really paying attention to everything that was happening in the game type shit. It was just like, oh, let me get through the stage, type shit. But the first, like, I want to say the first 3 games I was deep into. I want to say like, or maybe it was, hold on, maybe it was the 4th game. Maybe it was the 4th game. Maybe I didn't play the 5th game. Maybe I played the 4th game because I remember the 4th game was, yeah, I think it was the 4th game. Okay, the 4th game was when the installment was he was playing with Marcus's son, and then the 5th game was when they went into like the different character who was still hanging out with Marcus, but it was like he was playing as a different character. Okay, maybe I never played 5. Maybe I need to play 5. Yeah, I should play five because I think I got out because I wasn't because one I didn't have the money like that to be like buying new games for when I think five came out, and at the same time, Gears was always one of those things where I was like I used to love playing it with my bestie at the time, but me and him wasn't like really hanging out and talking like that, and we because I was in Seattle and he was in Philly, which is only 3 hour difference, we really wasn't able to like mesh up in like our like timing to like play games and stuff like that like we used to. So maybe that's what it was. I never played five. I'll get five. So maybe you know what? Maybe I'll try to get all of them. I'll get like E Day, and I'll get one through five, and I'll just try to play all of them in a fucking canonical order. That would be dope. That would be dope. I'm down for that. I'm down for that. But yeah, when it comes down to like all these different games and stuff like that that's coming out, I'm excited. Like I know, like I already talked about God of War, Lafe, and I'm excited about that. Excited about Wolverine. Oh my god, I'm excited about Final Fantasy Revelations. Like it's so much stuff coming out. I seen that they made a Breath of the Wild's remake. I don't have the Switch, but I am actually I have the Switch in my like queue to buy because I'm like as soon as like me and my daughter like get cool and like I'm like she's comfortable seeing me face to face and stuff like that, like I am looking forward to doting on her and like lavishing her with like all the love and all the hugs and all the gifts that like she's willing to like accept from me and stuff like that. So I already have like the Switch 2 in my queue to buy, my cart to buy. So like it's already on deck, so I'm excited. But yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm not sure if she's a gamer or not. I hope she is. But if not, then it's cool because I mean, regardless, like either way, if she's a gamer or if she's a reader or if she's an artist or like that, I'm going to support her and I'm going to fucking be like, whatever you need, and I got you. I just can't. I just look forward to it. I just look forward to like doting on her and like giving her all the love that she deserves and all the love that I have in me and stuff like that. I'm looking forward to it. So, but yeah, all right. I think that is it for today. Thank you all again for being here and traversing this verse with me, and I look forward to the next time. I am going to go do my shopping, and I'm not getting Chinese food today. Okay. Here's the thing: it's not like I'm on the fence with the whole boycott thing. Because I love Chinese food, but I'm not to the point where I'm like, I love Chinese food so much and I'm just going to be like, it is what it is. But at the same time, I'm just kind of like, if the mood strikes, I might just end up having to make my own General Tso's chicken and General Tso's shrimp myself. And just like, I did it before. When one of the people I was dating at the time, I actually went all out and I made us General Tso's chicken with like steamed vegetables and like white rice and stuff like that. It was delicious too. Like it was so good. I had the green onions and stuff like that. And I was like chopped up the green onions so they're like be sprinkled. It was good. So if anything, if I do want to get into a position where I'm like I want Chinese food, I can make it myself. But I might get Five Guys a day because oh my god, Carl Urban actually had a post recently because of his Star Trek interview that he did with from Harold and Kumar, where the interviewer was like, yeah, if you had a transporter, what would you like transport to? Like, because she was like, well, for me, it would be like my bedroom to Five Guys, and he was like, wait, what? And he was like, wait. The Five Guys? She was like, yeah, Five Guys. Yeah, I would just, straight from my bedroom to Five Guys. And it was like, what the? Wait, what is Five Guys? She was like, it's a burger place. And he was like, oh. It's just like, oh my god, no. She was like, he was like, no, no, kink shaming, like the Easter. It's so fun. So he just and this happened like years ago when the first like Star Trek movie came out, the remake came out. But he just recently with the Five Guys and made into the post was like about Five Guys. If you know, you know. So yeah, I got Five Guys on the brain. Because if it's not Five Guys, I'll probably go to Checkers and get one like that. But think about Five Guys. I don't know. It depends on how I feel after I go shopping. But alright, y'all have a good one. Thanks again for listening, and until next time, once again, like be kind to each other, be kind to yourself, and just just do the best you can with what you got. Alright, have a good one, y'all. This has been a Troyiverse production.